Speaking of names,
what's it come on paper?
what the fuck is going on with the name of this station?
Oh, here we
yesterday
go.
morning, I go turn on my radio.
Yeah.
I'm looking to listen to what the hell's going on.
Well,
Facts. What the?
First of all, oh wow, all right, let's get into this, Steven
Really?
Singer.
This sucks.
First of all, I wasn't.
You got a brand. You got decades of a brand.
Well, I sure thought I did. First of all, I wasn't going to re-sign with SiriusXM.
I know that.
Everything was, I was blindsided by the changes and everything that happened to me. That I literally had no time to set up shit outside SiriusXM, so I signed. And then I had to get money from my guys. I didn't sign before I got money from my guys because I'm like, they wanted me to pick some kind of A-lister that I had no chemistry with to do a radio show with. I'm not doing that. I'm like, I got
I heard you're getting 100,000 a show and you're giving these guys $100, right?
I'm gonna be selling your roses on the corner soon.
All right.
Good call. Good call. Good
Oh,
call, man.
look at that! Boy, they really bonded these two with the I hate.
I give a rose, all that he turns on me.
No,
right.
I get you.
Rich, you'll get more jewelry in a minute.
All right, listen.
His boring billboard story. He's thinking he's ripping him off. They're high-fiving.
I won the Subway Advertising Award.
Right.
So then they wanted me to. They're like, "Well, we want you with this, an A-lister." And the names they picked were so ridiculous. I'm like, I've never done a fucking radio show with these guys.
Right.
You know how radio is.
I
You gotta
know,
have
yep,
chemistry.
exactly.
I got chemistry with a bunch of these guys. I want to do it this way for now, and then if someone pops, then maybe I'll think about.
Meanwhile, the show sounds good. You're making something out of shit.
I think
you're putting it together and you're getting great guys in, and it sounds great.
I think the show sounds.
You sound very loose. Ever since you did that afternoon show when you came back from the beach,
right?
It's like a whole different vibe.
Because it's no surprise, I know how to do this, Steven Singer.
I guess so.
Over the years, some people were in my fucking way, but when I'm allowed to do what I know how to, to do it the right way, I'm
But
damn
Opie
good
is
at
such
this.
a great name. And it's such a brand,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Even the Opie by itself, forget about Anthony. Like just Opie, it's sticky, right?
Right. And we built that name forever.
Exactly. And to change it.
Well, did you tell these assholes down the hall?
Scott, don't listen to me. I'm just a dopey jeweler. What the hell do you listen to me for?
Then they wanted me to sign. Like, I'm not signing until I get money from my guys. And I got money from my guys, a short list of guys I really like doing the show with. And then the last thing I said to them is, can I at least keep the name of the fucking channel?
Right.
They're like, look, we have every right to change it, but we have no intention of doing that anytime soon. that was October. It's January, and they changed the whole fucking thing. And then they get mad at me for fucking being pissed off about all this stuff.
But not only that, though, there's no brand. In other words, nobody who knew. How could you know? Look, I turned on the thing. Every once in a while, I have favorites on my app, on my phone. So I go to look and I go look for Opie.
Right.
I can't find it.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? I'm looking. I thought every once in a while the favorites gonna get weirded out and they don't stay there.
I don't even know what it means. The name they picked and. To like blow up the Opie radio brand, which was also Opie and Anthony,
right?
And just name it some weird fucking name that means nothing to most people that are listening right now. So you just threw the whole audience into turmoil. For what reason?
Would they rename it?
I don't even say the name, and I won't.
Oh, okay.
And it has nothing to do with. No offense to anybody. I don't even know if Jason Ellis does a good radio show. I have no fucking idea.
He?
Back in the day. Rob, you got me fired up, Steve, and this could be my last show because you son of a bitch.
You got a year contract. I have to buy you out, right?
What the fuck? So back in the day when I was with Anthony and Jim Norton,
right?
Rob Cross came to me and goes, "This guy Jason Ellis, he's pretty talented. I want you to listen to some of his stuff." Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be completely honest with you here today. I listened to Jason Ellis's stuff. This has to be 8 years ago. I go, God damn, this is some good stuff.
Right.
I think our audience would like it. So I brought him on board. It was my decision in the end, right? Anthony fucking hated him. Jimmy fucking hated this guy. Our audience fucking hated this guy. And I thought, it was a mistake. I thought it was going to work. It just didn't work. And then I give this guy a really good opportunity, and he shit all over it. And then he'd be on Howard trashing me and Anthony, and every chance he got, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I just gave you a great opportunity. At the time, we had a huge audience, and now you're being heard in front of this massive audience. To his credit, I saw him, about a month ago in the hallway, and he knew this whole fucking channel was going to change.
Right.
And he actually walks up to me and he goes, why are you so fucking angry all the time? And he says this to me knowing that they're going to take my fucking channel away. And then he texts me later, like, yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell you at the time. I'm like, fuck you. And you wonder why I'm angry all the fucking time? But to his credit, he did apologize for being such an asshole back in the day when I gave him such a great opportunity. But with that said, I don't know what fucking kind of radio he does. This company actually thinks a lot.
Is he the skateboard guy?
Yeah. But to throw his audience with our audience and throw the whole thing in turmoil by changing the name of the channel like that is just crap. And the other piece of the puzzle, Jimmy went to the company and said, I do not want to do my new show under the Opie Radio brand name. That is a fact that was told to me by the guys down the hall. So now it's a whole fucking mess.
It sucks. But the dumbest thing is...
What's your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts are, I don't care if it's I mean, all the other stuff is bullshit to me. You know, I'm a branding guy, a marketing guy. Opie is a sticky name. That's a good name.
Right.
I was saying it before. If you saw the movie The Founder, the movie about McDonald's,
I haven't seen it yet.
It's a great movie. Yeah, it's a great movie. But the guy says the whole thing was the name McDonald's. It's like America's apple pie. He said, you know, if I called it Croc, you know, or Ray Kroc, so it was like Croc is shit. Well, it doesn't mean anything. Nobody's going to buy into it. McDonald's is just sticky. It was the right thing at the right time. Opie and Anthony, from the first second you heard it, it was sticky.
Right.
Opie and Anthony, O&A, just people wanted to like be in the club, you know. The whole thing, whether you like the name personally or not, you know, I know how you feel about it, but it was a sticky name and it's a great radio name, and it was your name.
Yeah.
So that was what, you know, it's not like a made up name.
No, I got to a point where I'm just stuck with the name, but then the branding of it was, ridiculous. But
right. And there's nobody else.
But then they pick a name that means nothing to these people that are listening right now. It's like, really, so you pissed me off even more. You pissed off some of the fan base that I still have off.
Right.
For what reason? Like, obviously, you want to reinvent this channel, and, you know, I know the numbers were dropping because me and Jimmy weren't getting it done.
Right.
And that's a discussion for another fucking day. But to blow up the whole thing with a name that means nothing, which has me enraged.
I was happy with Opie Radio and just let everybody else fall into different slots, but at least it had an identity and it was sticky.
But I'll just say it this way. But the other thing is, my brand Opie Radio, I wouldn't want those shows under me anyway. So we got a problem.
Well, that's a whole nother.
And I see how this is going to end, unfortunately. And I'm gonna be the one that
we're going to be like Breaking Bad. We're going to be in a trailer driving around making meth and have radio antenna out of the back.
What was the argument?
Steven, I went to them with shows that I really believed in. You know, I try to get Artie Lang hired in afternoons.
Artie's dynamite.
I try to get Anthony hired in afternoons. I'm like, look, me and Anthony's brand, as much as me and Ann have had problems over the years, I also understand how powerful the brand was. And I'm like, I think it's time that you bring them fucking back, have two different shows, and then maybe we'll do a little something in the middle. That would be a massive...
That would be unbelievable.
A massive channel.
Very strong together.
And then I try to get Ron Bennington back on the channel because they jettisoned him off to another channel to help out Raw Dog. So I had the shows and the ideas, but they didn't come to the table for any of that shit.
I don't know if the ideas are good or bad. I know you know radio, but I do know that people like consistency. They like to know the same things at the same time with the same name.
They don't like change.
They don't like change. They like and we've changed this channel. I say I haven't done anything, but you've changed the channel a dozen times. The times that go on, when it is, when you play, the name of the shows, how it works. They even changed the numbers. Remember one time, about 2 years ago, they changed the station numbers over the weekend, like everything flipped over. And people like consistency, and they like to know, and that's how you build an audience. And you don't have a great like Tuesday night comedy and then change it to Thursday night and think it's the audience is going to follow you. And we're doing the same thing for so many years, and you were consistent.
Right.
And people know it. And people anywhere in the country I would go, they would say they know me from O&A. They would say that type of stuff. And when you screw around with it so many different times, people get sick. Like they're tired of chasing it. Right. And there's so many other options today with podcasting and a million different things to listen to. So you really have to cherish that audience. Honor them and make sure they can find it easily. They shouldn't have to look for it.
Well, I mean, my biggest concern is they told me to my face, look, we have the right to change the name of the channel, but we have no intention of doing that anytime soon. And then look at the calendar. That's 3 months ago. I've only been doing this for 3 months in afternoons. And you got to think, well, no, I knew about a month ago. So that's... And they themselves knew they were going to do it before that, so they lied to me.
I think it's their loss, though.
And what is their argument for changing the name?
I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, I
know the numbers were dipping a little bit, but I mean, I've been here 12 years. They said, look, for the 12 years, even without Anthony, that this place was strong. So obviously, I understand if you got to pump up the channel and kind of try to make some changes, okay, but maybe baby steps. But to blow up the whole thing, it wasn't at that point.
I don't know. Smarter people than me.
But with that said, Steven Singer, I love doing this new show.
Right.
I'm having more fun now than I've had in years.
Oh, these guys sound great. They're funny as hell.
I love the guys.
Compliment each other great.
I love the guys I'm lucky enough to do this with. So I'm conflicted because I'm like, I'm really happy doing this, this new show.
That comes through. Like I said, it's great. Sherrod, all these guys. I mean, I love listening to it. I listen to the replays. I think it's great. And, we'll see how it works out. But what can I tell you?
This is off topic, but I just got a text that I won Best Postcard Sent of the Year award last year.
Rich couldn't handle 15 minutes without him being part of the conversation.
Meanwhile, wait a second. I want to tell you something.
It's a comedy show.
I'm in the green room, whatever the fuck you call that office there.
I don't even have an office.
Right? Whatever that room is that I'm sitting in there, that's supposed to be your office, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying, oh my God, Dell. I never even heard of Dell. We don't have Dell. I don't know anything. He won Dell. Every fucking computer in the office is Dell. There's 70 computers. I took pictures of it. Every single one is a Dell computer. There's one HP computer. I swear to you, every one is a Dell. Every single one of them.
That tells you everything you need to know about this place. They're behind the times, Steven Singer.
Rich listened to the guy who invited him to come down to be a part of his show today, freaking out about what the fuck is going on behind the scenes, and just listened for 15 minutes and went, how does this affect me?
Well, I lost you on that one. And of course, once I leave here, to tell you the truth, don't give a fuck about anything. So I have to.
Tell us how you really feel.
You just can't believe he told that Billboard story.
Yeah.
Huh? No, are you kidding? You know what an honor it is? Just on 95 alone, do you know how many billboards there are?
How many billboards you got? Right? How many billboards you got?
That's what I'm saying.
Listen,
I know. When
I got them all over the country.
I hope the award is an actual billboard that's in his backyard right
now. It's amazing. Who hosts the Billboard those awards? Like,
I don't know. The Addies?
LL Cool J?
The Addies.
It's not Gannett.
I have no idea.
Steven, what about this one? And then we can finally move on.
All right.
And I blame you.
Are we going to talk about gold roses yet? I got to sell some shit.
We can do that. But then I don't have an office because I used to hang out in here before my show. But now Ron's on before me, so I can't use this place. I gave up my office years ago. Me and Anthony did because our staff was so big. In the old office, it's very, well, you were in there. It's very tiny, right?
It's a tiny little
And there's 6 guys in there.
Yes.
So I went to the company. I'm like, can you at least give me a spot where I can hang out before my show? So I hang out in the hallway, and then they don't know what they said to me.
What?
Well, no one else has an office around here.
Right.
Yeah,
that was their answer.
But look how many different hallways you can move to.
Well, I move it around a little bit, which is nice.
You can redecorate.
Now I'm fucked for talking about this
because
they put me on. They put me on notice. They're
like,
really?
About talking about them.
And then this fucking guy has to come in and get me going.
Oh, sorry.
What's going on with the station?
I thought we were.
Just wanted to ask you on the air.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have said nothing.
I ask you about it.
Yeah, but
I didn't know. You could have said nothing. Everything's great.
I've only known him 20 years. He could have said, "Hey, man, before I get in there, I want to know a thing or two." This guy knows controversy, though. There's one thing I like about Steven Singer for real. Like, he really gets and knows and loves radio.
And he has a strong opinion. He came in with an opinion about branding that makes a lot of sense.
And he knows how to get the people talking. Yeah. He knows what to ask.
I know it's funny because I followed your career for a long time, even before I was on with you. And and I've said this to you before, I'm not blowing smoke. There's maybe a dozen guys in the country that are really talented at doing this, and you're one of them. There's not a lot of guys I've seen a lot of bad radio, heard a lot of bad radio. There's like a handful of guys that are like at another level.
Have you ever listened to the Sports Junkies? They're great.
Shut up! He's complimenting me.
Sorry,
Please shut your mouth. Cut his microphone. And I'm going to make you take over my Twitter feed later, Steven Singer.
Can I get some spots on Sports Junkies? No, but I'm into it. I mean, it's I'm happy you're successful. I'm happy the boys in the morning are successful. If Ant's successful, I love them all. I'll advertise everywhere, but you know, you're my
You're
guy.
asking Steven to go down the hall and tell the same thing to the bosses, but he's sitting here as one of the biggest advertisers here and saying what needs
They
to
don't
be
give a
said.
shit what they don't care.
They don't, whatever. And then I'm also bummed that they didn't even, like, you know, think about asking my opinion on a bunch of this shit. I've only been doing this since I was 18 years old. I might have some real opinions about it and real knowledge.
No, listen.
To do it behind my back.
Once they see you're doing it on the sofas, we're going to be out in the lobby with microphones. There's not going to be these studios. Hey, you don't need a studio. You can do it right out there.
Steven Singer.
Well, then when they told me they're changing the name of the channel, I said, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what are you going to do, a podcast?
Yeah. Well,
I think I'll do better than a podcast.
Don't leave.
it's
Whatever. I blame
Listen,
Steven Singer for
the
this.
one thing I could tell you is the other side of it. Sirius
up
is an
this
unbelievable
fuck.
platform. They're probably going to buy Pandora the way it looks.
I heard they already
and,
said no to that deal.
Yeah, there's still a lot of talk behind this. I don't know anything. I just hear the scuttlebutt behind.
Steven
the scenes.
hears things. He's hearing things.
It's but they're happening. They're in all the cars, and it's
Who, Sirius?
Yeah, and they're smart. They got everybody addicted to it.
They need content, though. So why fuck with your content?
Yeah, they had a
Anyone could get music at this point. Do you got the Alexa at your house?
Well, here's the thing.
Hey Alexa, play the Doors. Next thing you know, there's doors in your house. So they got to like get away
You
from the
got-
fact that the music thing isn't as important anymore, and it's content. It's shows like this that you actually should take care of.
You got what, 8 months left on your contract? Something like
It
that.
might be 8 minutes.
Right. if Howard doesn't re-sign, if Howard's done in
I've
another
heard that
4 years, now I'm saying
forever.
but now he's older, it's different. You don't know for real. This time I never thought anything would ever happen before, but now it could. And plus, he's only working a few days a week and only half a year, so God bless him. But so who's going to be the North Star? Who's going to drive the ship? Something's got to happen. So. If I was serious, I would be kissing your ass.
Well, I think the writing's on the wall, to be completely honest with you. With the changes that were made behind my back, some backstabbing, and being surprised and lied to, I think I'm the odd man out, to be honest with you.
I don't know.
Not a woe is me, but I'm not stupid. I've been doing
Right.
this a long time. I think if Jason Ellis's show takes off on this channel and the morning show possibly takes off on this channel, I'm the odd man out. It's so obvious.
Listen,
I think they're using me as sort of a bridge to get through this change, and then I'm done.
There's two things. One is you got a ton of connections. You made a
ton
nice
of
living,
cash.
a nice living for a long time in the afternoons. You were really strong in the afternoons for a long time.
Right.
And you know how to do it. And I think they'd be foolish. I mean, it's whatever, let bygones be bygones. Sirius is still a phenomenal platform, and they do a lot of things right.
Right.
This renaming the station wasn't one of them, but they do a lot of good things. And, listen, I'm here. I see unbelievable talent, celebrities, people coming and going. There's things going on here all the time. They really, made a name for themselves. They've done a lot of smart things.
I'll tell you the other side of it. For a real long time, I was very, very happy. Yes. Yeah, I get all that.
I think you could be happy again. You
Wow.
guys they just got to.
Dude, then they
You got to just kind of.
Then they closed the hallways because Howard had a problem with me saying good morning to him in the hallway. So then I go to the company like, this is bullshit that I have to wait near the elevators for the guy to pass by to go to my job, and they thought I was crazy for being mad about that.
Wait, you couldn't say hello to him?
There's
I
a
would
really
pass him over here, and it got blown out of proportion because Jimmy thought he heard something else. But the fact is, you're hearing it from me.
Right.
After all these years, I'm like, you know what? I've been in the same building as Howard for a long time, and we've gone at it. Steven knows more
Yeah.
than anyone. And I'm like, it's time to just say good morning to the
Right.
guy.
There's a really funny video of it.
Yeah, because he switched his hours.
Right.
So me and Kenny would be walking down the hall. Him and Ronnie would be walking the other way. And one morning, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to say good morning. And that's all it was. And then Kenny sort of started chuckling. I go, what's up? He's like, he's so mad. I'm like, that's me saying good morning? So then it happened another 2 or 3 times. And every time I saw him, I wasn't being a dick. I would just look him right in the eye and say good morning. Because I'm actually pretty friendly with Ronnie when I see him around here. We would leave this building together all the time. Ronnie couldn't be nicer to me. He's so fucking cool. So then next thing I know, there's some bullshit story that someone was bothering him, so they need to close the hallways. And then I got a lot of people around here that, look out for me and respect me. They pulled me aside more than a couple people and said, that's all because of you saying good morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I told these guys that it's bullshit that I got to wait in the elevator banks for him to pass by. And they're like, yeah, you shouldn't be bothered by that at all. I'm like, really? You tell me that that I'm an important piece of this company, and now you got me in the elevator banks waiting for this guy to pass by, and then I'm allowed to come in.
Oh, I should have just waited in your office. Oh,
That's
Steven
amazing.
Singer with the Singers.
You don't know that story?
No, I never heard it, but I thought he was airlifted right into a studio. Like I didn't know he walked into hallways.
But that was
You have to see the video. The video is hilarious.
That's funny. I got to see it.
well. Then I dramatically because I'm now there's glass. So he passed by and I went, "Good morning." And then you see the security guards waiting, and then they wave me in, like, "Yep, now you could come to work."
And then
That's
Kenny
funny.
comes in with the.
And then they
all
wonder why
clear.
I'm mad.
And they held everybody back.
Dude, if there was an inkling where I was being a dick to him, then I would understand I would understand. But the company can't go to him and go, "Look, the guy's just saying good morning. Maybe it's time for you to get over it." And I've also said I would sit down with Howard any day of the week and discuss our little issues because I think I think he still doesn't sleep well at night because of me.
I think
it would be
you would
one
be a great guest on his show.
and it'd be one conversation,
I would
and
love
we
to
would
see
be
that.
we would be over it.
Right.
I know
But
we
didn't
would.
it start with him having you guys thrown out of a press conference or something?
Oh Christ, that was
That you know
That's
what?
where it started,
There's a
though, right?
million-
Steven brings up a good point,
There's a
though.
million-
Opie and Howard being on the air together would be a great
That'd be a great
conversation.
interview.
That would be an amazing
Yeah.
conversation.
Well, listen, you guys have a
could-
lot of the history together.
Yeah.
And you were both in two different boats in the same water going at
Right.
the same time at the same stations
Nah,
and stuff.
his boat was faster. I
but
have no
still,
problem
be-
saying that, but he could do the exit interview for me.
There you go.
It started nowhere. It started in Boston. Me and Ant did a bit called Black Jeopardy. There was a story in the newspaper, something about Jeopardy and black people. So, as you know, hopefully entertaining radio host, we took that, spun it, and made a bit. Black Jeopardy. Howard thought it was too close to a bit he was doing at the time, which I think was Minority Jeopardy.
I'd
Quick
never
guess.
heard it.
Maybe
I'd never
help me
heard
out.
that. I never heard
and
it.
so he talked about us. We're nobodies in Worcester, Massachusetts, and here's Howard Stern
wait.
from our hometown. I mean, we're Long Islanders, but in New York City, talking about Opie and this Opie and Anthony. We got to keep an eye on these guys, right? And my PD panicked, like, "Oh, that's never good if Howard's talking about it." And me and Anna like, "Fuck that, that's great." And we, when we came to New York, we're like, we can't let this guy destroy us like he destroyed every other show, like the Bella
Right,
from
right.
Philly
Yep.
and everywhere else. So we fucking fought him. You know, punch for punch,
Yeah.
because we didn't want him to take us out, and that's where it all began. And then in there was some ugly shit that happened, and there is one thing that I would absolutely apologize to him if I saw him face to face.
But he's buried the hatchet with everybody else.
Huh?
He's buried the hatchet with most everybody else that he had
well,
feuds with.
you know, Brother Weeze, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking up all the time.
Yeah.
Craig. I
No, this is-
apologize.
Yeah.
no, this is
No.
actually a great
All
story.
right, so
This is
Brother
good.
Weeze,
I know the story.
Right.
Brother Weeze is my mentor.
I know, yeah.
And here's the problem. This is the problem if everyone needs to
Go
know.
ahead.
Brother Weeze is everything to me in this
Right.
business. There's a matter of fact, there was a time when me and Ant were syndicated. There was a station in Rochester that wanted to put me up in mornings against Brother Weeze. I said I just will not fucking do it. That's
Right.
what this guy means to me. And I even had to have a conversation with Ant. I'm like, you gotta understand this one. There's no fucking way I'm going up against
Right.
him. I just can't fucking do that. And to Ant's credit, he was totally cool about it, and I think they moved us into afternoons or something like that. Anyway, this guy means the world to me. So when Howard was syndicated in Rochester, you know how he would like study the personality
Right.
and then figure out the weakness. The weakness with Weeze is
He'd always attack who his competition
Right.
was.
Weeze
he
had
would
a
go
s-
after him
Weeze-
viciously.
Right.
Weeze has a daughter that's
Right.
a bit slow, but
Right.
an amazing person and personality, right?
Right.
Fucking, if you know your Howard Stern history, he destroyed Weeze through that. I never forgot that, knowing that this guy was my mentor, and
Right.
I was a nobody, and so maybe that got
Triggered something.
Well, that got in my head. Like, if
Right.
I ever get the chance, I'm definitely gonna like take my shots back because of that. Right or wrong, that's what I was thinking. And then fast forward, I was lucky enough with my career and Anthony and everything else. We were on the same page for a while, and I took my fucking shots. But that's where it all began.
Yeah, I had a dinner with a kid in Arizona who was the son of Steve Dahl. I hear a lot from radio guys. So every week I'm in a different city and I'm doing every radio station
Right.
in town to promote my shows in that
Lucky
city.
you.
And I did I was in.
Do you want to tell my billboard story in any of them?
I was in Arizona, and Steve Dahl sent his son out there to cover the White Sox spring training out there. And he was turning 21 while I was in Arizona. And I said, you got to let me take you out for a nice dinner. You're 21, and I'm going to spend some money and do for you what everybody
Right.
did for me when I was broke. And we had dinner, and we talked about his dad. Steve Dahl's a legend in Chicago, and started talking about Howard. Howard gave me my start. I've always been grateful to Howard for giving me my start. And he goes, yeah, when I was 8 years old, Howard Stern wished AIDS on me. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah. And he told me this story about how Stern had just moved into the Chicago market, wanted to know everything about this guy, Steve Dahl, and just started attacking him and saying, you know, I know he's a little league coach for his son. And fuck him, fuck his son. I hope oh God, if you're listening, please, God, I beg of you, God, please give AIDS to Steve's son.
Oh no! Well, he would. That was he's he hasn't done it recently, but he did it for many many years.
No.
He would wish cancer on somebody or AIDS on somebody or whatever. Sure.
Now give. I'm tagging you because I'm going with that now. Okay, and Howard to Howard's credit. Sorry. To Howard's credit, he called Brother Wease, and he's called a bunch of these guys over the years and apologized and made amends with like Brother
Which I've
Wease.
also been hearing about from radio guys all over the
Wease
country.
called me and went, I just had the nicest conversation with Howard. He apologized, and so I want to tell. I want to tell the whole story. Hold on. So Wease goes because Wease knows that I was protecting Wease all those years, and when I was able to take my shots, I did.
Right.
So Wease now is trying to help me out. So they're good. Howard apologized. Wease accepts. It's all good with those two. And even Howard said, look, I would love to take you out to dinner next time you're in New York, whatever, right? Wow, this is some real good inside shit. So
inside
So then Wease goes to Howard, what about my boy Opie?
Right.
And Howard said, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for Opie yet. I'm not ready for Opie yet.
I'm surprised.
And that's the whole
How long ago was
story.
that?
That's a couple of years easily now. That might even be like
I think
that might even be like 5 years ago by now.
I think the way I heard that story was that Howard said, Weeze, that's not why I'm here to talk to you.
Right.
Wait, you know some of that?
Yeah, I remember hearing,
It's fun. But
Howard,
Howard,
me and Weeze are that tight, though.
Yeah.
He's like a father figure. He's like a brother to me. I would not be here today listening to Steven Singer's boring billboard story if it wasn't for Brother Weeze.
Right.
Yeah, I remember my only Howard story.
Even getting sucker punched in this story.
My only
Steven Singer Jewelers, come on.
My only Howard story is when
he
I
hates
won.
Steven Singer.
Yeah, that's right.
When I won the postage stamp lick award. Howard said he already won the postage stamp lick award, and that I stole the idea from.
Fucking boss.
You're paying him for this now?
Just stop the
paying for
conversation and
this?
say, listen, by the way, go to richvos.com.
So anyway.